Hi everyone! One more Thanksgiving card. This is my probably favorite, I don't know, so far. I watercolored all these elements and it's got some vellum pieces and I stamped some in the background. It's getting dark out so there's a little more shadow, but yeah, it's pretty cute. I like it. I had some pretty sparkly ribbon that of course got sparkles everywhere, but I really wanted to use it on this card. I don't know if you can see it, yeah, but I couldn't. I don't know, I was gonna put it across there and I just like the black and white better since I had the black and white check. But anyway, we'll go ahead and get to, oops, got an extra piece there, creating this card. I did I guess first things first, I'll start out with my watercolor elements. Here's two that I have that I didn't die cut out, they're just extra. I used Crushed Curry, Mango Melody, and Cajun Craze to make these. And then I did the whole, squeeze the ink pad. And just use my aqua painter. And I just did them in layers. And I kind of liked how they turned out with all three. And I'll do one, try to do one real quick just because I don't normally show a lot of my technique, so I'll try to start doing some of that. At least little bits. I'm sure you guys don't watch just to watch me put cards together. And I'm going to just do it on the back of this. This is watercolor paper. And the stamp set I used was the Gathered Together. And I just used the leaf image. And I started out, this is another card that the idea changed 16 times until I found one that went together pretty well. And I started out, I wanted the leaves to be, I knew I wanted the black and white check. I wasn't sure about what to put at the top, but I wanted everything to be centered across the top like this. Maybe my pumpkin and maybe another bouquet type thing in the center, and then my leaves going outward from the center. But as you can see, things changed. So I still like this outcome a lot. And of course, there's a million and two different ways to do all this. So, and I stamped this in Memento, and this did bleed a little bit when I first started, and I'm gonna do this not on my table because it's gonna shake the camera. And I don't know if it's just me or if it's this stamp. I kind of think it's part of the stamp. Somewhere I saw the center of the leaf doesn't like to ink very well. So I'm not sure if it's the stamp or my ink pad. And then I do remember I definitely needed my foam for this. I have some, like the distinctive stamps and stuff. I know that the foam is for photopolymer stamps. But I have some distinctive stamps that do pretty well without the foam, because I just recently got this. I think it was in my first haul that I did on YouTube. So up until then, I've been using photopolymer and never really needed it. But here recently, I've needed it. So anyway, I have my aqua painter. And it's already somewhat wet. I'm gonna get it a little bit more wet. And I know a lot of people use a rag. I just use my chamois. It works really well to clean it. I've used all these colors And you can't tell now because I've colored, but yeah, it's still wanting to run a little bit. So I might have to let that dry. Yeah, because it's bleeding. So, but anyway, I can at least show you my tip. And I just squeezed my aqua painter, and you can see that I have some color. And then I just be kind of vigorous with it to get the chamois in touch with all the bristles, and it comes out clean. Even if I do this Cajun Craze color, this red or red orange, and I'll just, you know, work it in the brush a little bit. And then I'm just squeezing and going crazy with it. And it takes it all out pretty well. I mean, it's got a teensy tiny bit of like a pinkish red staining, probably from the Cajun Craze color, but other than that, I mean, it still looks brand new. Might be hard to tell, but so let's see. Figures when I try to show something, it's not going to go right away. But anyway, I put this down in layers, and I did the crushed curry, and I'm going to let it just do its thing for time purposes. And I coated it in the yellow pretty well. I tried not to go outside the lines on the other ones just because when you die cut it, it does show. And then I cleaned my aqua painter, and I went into the Mango Melody. And with this, I almost covered the whole thing. I left the edges yellow. And that's all I did. I just kept going over with each color pretty sloppily for most of them, because I knew I just didn't want a solid stamped color. Like I just did this for some variegation so that it, you know, it doesn't look like every other stamped image. Now, the crushed curry, you can tell, see, some of it's darker, and then some of it's a little bit more blended. That all had to do with how much water. You could even leave them the yellow and the orange. I think that's a pretty leaf color. I have some more examples that I did, because I did a whole bunch thinking I was going to use them, but this one I just did really dry, and you can see how it's just kind of like the veins that look red versus this where it's pretty blended. And I liked them all. I don't know, you could definitely, I have some, this was like my first one that I did where it didn't blend out as well, but still, I mean, it's a fall leaf, so it would still look pretty. So then that was just to show like how versatile you could be with it. But a lot of it, like, I just tried, and see, this is really wet, and I guess as long as you just keep spreading it out, it'll lighten up. Because at first I thought, okay, well, I'll just follow the veins like this. And then the more that I smeared it, the better it started looking. So anyway, that's that. And even though it got a little muddy with the Memento not being completely dry, I assume that's what it is, because after they set for a little while, they didn't do that to me. It was only when I went in it right away, like I just did, that it got muddied. So I'll put that back and close these up, because I'm not inking anymore. And what else was I can say? Oh, my pumpkins, I just stamped those in Memento as well. And then those I watercolored with pumpkin pie. And the only thing that I am going to use is soft suede in a little minute. And then I just die cut those out. So I'm going to set that off to the side. The next thing I did was get my background together, and I'm gonna try to do this without bumping my camera, because the last time I set this with the camera stick in front of me, it bumped it. So I knew that I wanted my background, like this one, to be about 2/3 of the way up. So, and I don't even remember what I cut that at. Like 2.5 I cut it at. So, and I just picked my best side. Like, this is missing a little bit, which it wouldn't even matter because I'd be covering it up anyway. Oops. Then I cut from my Wooden Textures DSP. I just picked out a pattern that I liked. And let's see, I'll go two and a half should be enough. And I'll cut it down to my width, which is 5 1/4. I just did a 1/4 of an inch smaller than my card base. And then, and you know, maybe there is an easier way to do this, but for me, I put some ATG on here, and I should even just be using liquid glue. I hope that doesn't come back to bite me. And I lined this up over here, and then, whoops, the most difficult part was trying to get it to stay still for me. And then I lined this up with my 4 inches, because that's how wide I wanted it to be, you know, for my normal card base. And that's how I got it lined up straight-ish instead of guessing. I just used my trimmer, and there you go. And then the next thing, because I didn't really like it without a nice, I don't know what I'm even trying to say. I didn't like the sharp contrast here, so that's why I was like, okay, I'm gonna lay down some ribbon. So I'll go ahead, and then I was like, oh, if I'm gonna put ribbon on here, I can put a nice little bow on here. This was just my train of thought for creating this card. I'm sharing because I know I've said a few times how much I struggled, and I'm just trying to make sure it's centered, with coming up, and of course I put too much overlap because I'm talking, how much I struggled with creating cards and coming up with my own ideas. Like, and I even think for this one, I saw somebody maybe use black and white check paper. It might have even been a Thanksgiving card. I don't remember. But other than saying, oh, that would be really pretty, the rest was all me on this one. And I'm just looking for my glue dots. Oh, there they are. Okay. My ribbon, I guess I did it a little tight. It's wanting to stick up on me this time. There we go. That's better. I'll do one more. Okay. Then next, I think I'm going to go ahead and adhere it to my card base, which for this one, I just use white. It probably, I don't know, it might be okay on like a crumb cake or a taupey color. Or maybe it might even be pretty on an orange, you know, something to pick out some of the colors in your card. Okay. The next thing, I don't know if you could see it before, but I have some foliage stamped in the background behind here. It's soft suede, and I just stamped it off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And this is the foliage from Painted Harvest. It's the detailed stamp. And I inked it up, and I did stamp it off, I'm pretty sure. And then I just tried to go different directions. I think before I did this too, I had laid it out to see, you know, where you'd be able to see the images poking through. And I guess I'll do one more. And I put my finger in it. Okay, sorry about that. Whoops. Alright, once I have, and I only did a couple of these leaves, then I think I also stamped my sentiment. It doesn't have to be in that order. I don't know why I'm even saying that. But it was easier to do without all the elements on the page. And then the only thing, I didn't even really line that up, was the bow. But I'm just going to stamp it. And it's sort of crooked, of course it would be. Clean my stamp, and we're done stamping. So then the next thing I did was stretch out all my elements, kind of test fit them. I have some vellum pieces. These are from the Everything is Rosy die cut, and I tucked them in and just kind of let them hang out onto my card. And I'm just ripping them in half to give it a more fuller effect. Plus they're so long, you don't really need them to be so long. I think I might put this one, oops, under the sleeve. And once everything's kind of dry fitted, I just adhered them to the card. And my little pumpkins I popped up, and my leaves I popped up. Well, one might even be enough for that. And I'll just cut some for my leaves. And I even, for this one, because I liked how it was laid out and I knew that all these little pieces would keep moving on me, I just went ahead and I only put, shoot, now I'm pushing it under. I only put dimensionals on the tips of the leaves just to, you know, have them lifted a little bit. And I'm just going to go ahead and take that off. And I just used a baby bit of glue. I liked to leave everything flowy and kind of have a little bit of dimension. I glued down the tips of my leaves. I'm just going to stick that in that pile of glue. Oopsies. And then I need a little bit for this guy up here. Of course. Everything's sticking. Tip of my glue's got a little bit of half sticky stuff on it. I'm gonna flip this up for a second. There we go. Just need to give my glue a second to dry. Maybe 2 seconds. I guess while I'm doing that, I will put on some more dimensionals. Like I said, this card's probably my favorite so far. And I just tried to stagger it a little bit too, just to be different. And then I had another piece of vellum. I really like the little bit of, I think, elegance that the vellum adds to the cards. I'm going to cover up all my mess with a pumpkin. Sorry if you can hear my dog and the squeaker toy. Seems like, you know, everything goes awry when you're filming. And there we go. And this one too, I did not stamp anything on the inside yet. I very well may, but oh, I know what I forgot. I forgot my bow. And I used glue dots for this also, which I'm looking for them. I feel like I never have enough space. Trying to see which side I like better. I like this side. And I put a couple glue dots on here just to kind of hold it down where I wanted it to be. You know, there's always one tail that doesn't act right. What are we on? Okay, good, we're on the tail. And then this, I just kind of hung off to the side. And one of those, the like, whoops. The little square knots would be really cute too. Might even, no, it's gonna lay right. Okay. Now we're done, I think. And this might even be cute with some rhinestones. I might add a couple of those. I don't know if I should use black or clear. I have orange too. Black. I'm just looking for my clear ones. Yeah, I might use the clear ones. I don't know why I always put them back in this plastic. Probably because if I didn't, I would lose my rhinestones and have them everywhere. That's why you don't do that. Uh-oh. Well, I guess we're sticking there now. Yeah, that's cute. Add some to this one. But anyway, I hope you all liked these cards, and I will try to keep them coming, as this gives me a hard time. But I hope you all have a great day and happy crafting.